What up, though? Welcome to another episode of Full Metal Analysis. I'm your boy Bruce Diggy. I got my, as always, I got my co-host MJ Detroit. MJ, what's going on? Another, welcome to Week 7. Anything in particular that caught your eye this week? Any matchups that you decided to see?
Um, I just wrote down the slate for Bet It Up. Oh man, it is a tough slate. Should be a lot of good games, a lot of good football this weekend, even with the college games today. Excited to watch some of these games later on today, and I'm taking a half a
Yeah,
day
I
to
heard.
get home and watch
heard
this Lions and Vikings game.
yeah, I gotta do the same thing. I heard there's a lot of good college games this week, man. What Georgia's playing Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tennessee got a big game.
Alabama,
Yeah.
and
I
then
think this is not a popular opinion. I've been saying it all year. Tennessee is sorry, man. Tennessee Tennessee is not good.
it's
I've caught a couple of that games. I was not impressed.
I think they lost last week, so losing
They
two
won.
games.
They won last week, but they shouldn't have.
Okay, they lost then the week before, I guess. But
Yeah, they did.
yeah, so two losses would be real bad for them. And
No,
Alabama,
they only
Alabama dropped one
they,
too.
they only got one loss. Tennessee only got one loss, but they should have lost to Florida last week, and they pulled it out right at the end of that game. But the fact that they was in a dark fight with an unranked Florida team that went into overtime, they sorry.
Yeah, Alabama lost one too. So yeah, whoever loses today, they're gonna have two losses. So it's a real big game. And then Michigan and Michigan State both got they kind of got like key point games today. They both could potentially win, and they both could potentially lose. And whichever way it go, kind of dictate which way their season look like it's gonna go.
Yeah, I think Michigan State is playing Iowa. That's gonna be a tough game for them. I'm not real sure if they're gonna pull that one out. Interested to see what happens. And Michigan is playing Illinois. It's a winnable game, but the way Michigan has been playing the past few weeks, I'm not sure, man. They did decide to start what is third string quarterback Tuttle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quarterback crisis in Michigan, man. I mean, we all knew that they weren't gonna do what they did last year, but it's looking dire right now, man. If they don't do some major recruiting, somebody gonna get fired around there, and it's only been one season.
Yeah, I'm honestly, man, I wouldn't be surprised if both Michigan and Michigan State win today. Like you said, State has a tougher task against Iowa, but Iowa has never been great at putting up points on the board, and State's offense can move the ball. It's just they do a terrible job of taking care of it. They turn it over at the most inopportune time. So, I mean, if they can take care of the ball and get up some points, then they might be able to win that game. And on the flip side, same thing with Michigan. Like Michigan's offense is kind of hit or miss, but I think they just get back to doing what they do normally, run the ball, short passes, and just same thing, take care of the ball. And they need their defense. Their defense really has been Jekyll and Hyde, but I think this is a game where their defense does show up.
So I got a question for you. I was talking about it last night with my cousins, and I'm interested to see. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't do it off. I mean, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I might not get all the teams in. But who do you at? I mean, midway. We about midway through the season, so who do you see making the NFC 12 teams to make the NFC playoffs as of right now?
You talking about college or
Yeah, college.
college?
Yeah.
Oh man, I know I'm over here talking about two losses, but with 12 teams, that's not going to disqualify you. So I mean, it's going, as far as I know, it's going to be the usual suspects. I know. I think he plays for Boise State. They got that running back that everybody's talking about. Um,
Right.
so Boise State might end up being in there, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be anybody out of the ordinary. And at the rate we go on right now, it looks like Oregon was the favorite coming into the season. Looks like they're going to be the ones to take it. They haven't been stopped yet.
What about Texas is number one? Texas has been number one all season. You think they win over Texas? They win the whole thing over Texas?
Yeah, the rate that they're going at, just because they have so much hype behind them, but Texas definitely got, they got no issues at quarterback. They got honestly two quarterbacks, so they'll be fine there. But it's been so long since Texas has done anything. I mean, Oregon, same thing with Oregon, but Oregon's been a powerhouse for a while, and Texas has too, but they've been disappointing for. They had a lot of disappointing seasons. But I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon took it all. But I can't knock Texas, because the one time I did see them against Michigan, they was moving the ball with ease.
Yeah. Texas is rolling. Oregon has adapted real well to being in the Big Ten, and they have had no problems. USC, on the other hand, has struggled. I guess in a power going against power teams. They have not transitioned well to the Big Ten. I don't even think they're ranked anymore. Um, do you think that and I don't expect Tennessee to make it. Uh, do you think that Alabama, let's say Alabama goes and they lose another game, do you see them making it into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think I've heard people talk about it before, but it's kind of like where it used to be like one loss. One loss was the most you could have to get into the old system. With this new system, I think you could have like, I think you don't see teams with three losses get into the playoffs. So
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
yeah, so they'll teams like, I think you'll see Tennessee. I think you'll see Alabama, Georgia. The usual suspects are going to be there. Texas, and then
Clemson.
Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Yeah, you're gonna see Clemson. Yeah, Clemson's been playing pretty well recently. So yeah, I think it's going. I don't think it's going to be that many surprise teams in there, or teams that you expected to be in there that's going to miss it.
So we named a lot of teams, man. That Penn State. We naming a lot of teams. Them slots are getting real limited. Does Michigan squeeze their way into the playoffs or not?
Nah, the way this team looks, they got one loss or two losses.
I
I think they
think
got
they
two.
got two,
Yeah, they got two. They still
but
got to play.
one is to Texas,
Yeah,
but
one is Texas, and
but they lost last week.
they lost to Washington. Um, so yeah, they lost to Washington. They lost to Texas. They still got to play Oregon. That's a loss, and they still got to play Ohio State, and that's most likely a loss. So that's four losses right there. And then you essentially assuming that they will beat everybody else. So I mean, even Illinois, we're not even sure if they're gonna beat Illinois. So yeah, I can't say Michigan's gonna make it.
So my when I was talking to my cousins last night, his argument was that what I'm saying they're gonna go off, saying who is like he was describing like a fair system, and I was like, man, nah. The NFC is gonna put the teams in who's gonna make them the most money, who's gonna get the most views when they in the playoffs. So they're gonna finagle, like even if Alabama loses one or two more games, like you said, he didn't think that they were gonna put them in. But I'm thinking like Alabama's a big market team. They're gonna find a way to get them in there. Whereas Michigan, like they've declined to the point where they're not even showing the Michigan State game on national TV. They're going to be on the Big Ten network. So how do you feel like I keep saying the NFC, NCAA? How do you feel like they're gonna handle it? Do you think they're gonna have a fair system like they did last year with Florida State? No, I mean, do you think they're gonna have a fair system where they include Florida State? No, like they did last year. What I'm trying to say is Florida State went undefeated last year, but they did not make the playoffs, and they put Alabama in over them, even though Alabama had one loss and Florida State didn't have any. Or do you think they're gonna go the money route and put the most popular teams in there and get the most eyes?
I mean, I guess I side with the quote unquote money route. I wouldn't call it the money route. I would say, I guess you could lump that into basically best for business, because Florida State didn't make it last year, but they also lost their starting quarterback. So yeah, they had an undefeated season, but they didn't have a quarterback. So I wasn't as up in arms about them missing it, because basically the committee was like, well, Alabama has their quarterback. They lost one game, and Alabama's been good all year, and so is Florida State. But this isn't the same Florida State team, whereas this is pretty much the same Alabama team. So we're gonna put Alabama in. So I feel like they're just gonna put in whatever team is playing the best football at that moment. Like, if with 12 teams, it's gonna be so much easier to get the right teams in there. But like, if Boise State, take for instance, Boise State was on the bubble and they made it all the way to the end, and they was up against another team that had like one more loss, but Boise State lost, this Heisman candidate running back. I don't think they would put Boise State in over the team with the one more loss that was at full capacity.
I'm saying though, I mean I'm saying though, but yeah, like you said, it's what's best for business. So that's why I call it the money route. What's gonna give the most views? Like for instance, because even though Florida lost their quarterback, I mean that's like saying that since the Lions lost Hutch, they can no longer make it to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not. But it's like yeah. But in order for that to be the same scenario, it's got to be another team that's like right there. Like, we got two teams that's like right there. You got Alabama with one loss, and you got this team that's undefeated. But yeah, they got one loss, but they don't got their quarterback. like, at this point, we like, ooh, it's a real fork in the road. But like, if it was like, Florida State is undefeated and they don't have their quarterback, or are we looking at Michigan, who's lost like 5 games, but hey, it's Michigan. Now, if you go with Michigan, then that's clearly like you only concerned about money and you're not actually looking at football.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, and the NFL has a fair system. Like, it's like they could a team could if a team go 12-5, they whole offense could get hurt. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's no committee in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think teams like Alabama, even if they have 2 or 3 losses, will make it in there. But I was just interested to see your opinion on that. Other than that, speaking of the Lions, spend a lot of talk about Maxx Crosby and his new statement to the media about it is what it is. I'm gonna end up where I end up. The Detroit fans are going wild in the stands. Maxx Crosby is finally coming home. What are your thoughts on Maxx Crosby's statement?
It was definitely a 180 from what he had said before.
Right.
It gives people that want Maxx Crosby a lot of hope. It even made me do a slight, it even made me do a slight head turn and a couple steps back, because I said that this isn't the right time to go out and get Maxx Crosby. But hearing him say that, I've also been giving some thought to where I know I said they wouldn't be at full capacity because they wouldn't have Hutch. They would just be trying to get back to where they were, which I wasn't really a big fan of. But then, I mean, you do got to take into account that you will have them next year and you'll have them the following year. So, this is basically going to be a season for him to get acclimated. At the same time, you still are a Super Bowl contender, and then next year you should be back at full strength for the next 2 years. That's a real nice window. You can figure out what you want to do with him after that. But the only other thing that came out was something that I did say, and Brad Holmes confirmed it, which was that they do not like to operate from a position of need or a position of desperation, essentially. So he says that his time since he's been here, he's always been real focused on not doing anything from or not being in a position where he feels like his back is against the wall and he's got to do something. So the idea that the Lions are in that situation, I don't think he feels like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't feel like I feel like I mean we need like my whole position has been the whole time. We need Maxx Crosby. I'm not gonna say we don't, but do we need to pay what we need to get Maxx Crosby is my whole issue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course I want Maxx Crosby here, but just I can't get past the 2 first-round picks.
They talking about 3 first-round picks.
Ooh, yeah, nah, I'm out.
I've heard anywhere from 3 first-round picks to 2 and something else, a 4th or something. I've heard Hendon Hooker floated out there. I've heard all types of trade proposals. So it would be the fact that Crosby is not technically on the market makes it so difficult because it would be so much nicer if we could have an idea of what his value is.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely out on 3 picks, man. Three picks. All right, Maxx Crosby, I love you, man. I'll holler at you. I see you around. I can't give up 3 picks, man. I was shaky at 2, but I'm definitely out on 3.
So I would ask you. I would. If I had to choose, I probably would do it for 3 picks, and my justification would be, who are you going to take in the in the top 30? We'll just say the top 30 end of at the back end of the draft, going 30 and up. Who are you going to take that's going to be an impact player? Where are you going to fit that person in on this team essentially for the next 3 years? At what position?
Yeah. That's an interesting question. Uh, right now, yeah. I mean, I guess you got a point, man. Essentially, we got a young team. I guess it. I mean, I can't say right off the top of my head, but you never know who you're gonna need in the next 3 years, and you know,
Real quick rundown while you think about it. Quarterback, you got Jared Goff locked up for 4 years. You got Hendon Hooker in the background. Running back, Gibbs is going to be due for a contract. You just signed David Montgomery. Wide receiver, got J-Mo, got St. Brown. Going to have to give J-Mo a contract. And we got the third receiver. Tight end, we got Laporta. The only thing that I would say is the offensive line. Yeah, we stacked the offensive line, but we do got Decker and Ragnar who are getting older. So you will eventually need to replace them. How you want to do that? Oh, Zeitler too. Zeitler is old too. So you're going to have to get, but at the same time, you did draft Manu. Still got Sorsdal in the works. Go to the defense. just re-upped on Aleem. Still got Hutch, ain't going nowhere. Linebackers, Anzalone maybe in a couple years, but you got Jack Campbell essentially to replace him. Cornerbacks, we just drafted 2 cornerbacks with the first 2 picks. Brian Branch ain't going nowhere. See what happens to Iffy, but Kirby's young. You kind of got your roster loaded. So if we all got faith that Brad could find somebody in the mid rounds that you could slot in there. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Essentially, I would say right now it would probably be somewhere in linebacker, another linebacker. Yeah, Anzalone is great. I mean, I wouldn't, as of right now, I wouldn't get rid of Anzalone, but if I could get a star linebacker in there, like a All American linebacker, I would take that. But you know what I'm saying. But late rounds, you probably gonna get around the same production. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, I guess you got a point.
Yeah, we'll see. We know Brad. We know Brad loves his picks. So I'm sure he more so sides with you as far as just the risk that would go with giving up 3 years worth of first round picks. So
Yeah, I'm just saying, in 3 years, you never know. I mean, right now we seem pretty good, but as contracts go, and you can't guarantee that. Like we assume that everybody will stay here, but you can never guarantee that that they're gonna be able to lock everybody up. You know what I'm saying?
Brad out here passing out contracts like it's Halloween.
Yeah, but he's been able to do that because he hasn't went and made a home run deal and spent all the cap on a major player like that. Like once he starts making those type of acquisitions, then you start running out of money to make those type of deals.
Yeah, all the guys that I feel like for the most part, most of the guys I like are locked up. But yeah, no. Like I said, Brad don't like to operate from a position of desperation, and like you said, he don't like to be tied up. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad if he didn't make the move. And I don't expect him to make the move, but
essentially,
it'd be a little different.
Essentially, whatever decision he makes, I would roll with it. I mean, either way, I couldn't be mad at it. If he keeps his picks, that's what I would want him to do because what I'm saying, that's just a security blanket for me for the future. But if he went out and spent uh 3 picks on Maxx Crosby, I wouldn't be like, damn. I'd be like, I mean, welcome Maxx Crosby. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think there's I mean, after what he set up the team, I don't think there's a wrong way to go about this. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? He's been successful pretty much every year at making picks, and if he went the Maxx Crosby route, I don't see a flaw in that way either. So I don't think there's a wrong answer.
Yeah. I think Maxx Crosby would just be, it's like it's like you just keep trying to make a cake. You just keep trying to make this cake, and one day you put too much flour, the other day too much sugar, the other day you cook it too long, next day you don't cook it enough, and you just keep trying and trying, and then finally you just go to the store and you buy a cake. that's Brad Holmes and the defensive end position, man, because he's been here for 4 years, and defensive end, like I said, Hutchinson fell into his lap. If we went back and redrafted and did a redraft, no way in the world Jacksonville would have passed on Hutch. But Hutch fell into his lap. He had the number 2 pick. And he took Hutchinson. Outside of that, everybody on the opposite side of Hutch has been, they've been average at best. So
yeah, but to play devil's advocate and use your analogy against you, A store-bought cake is never as good as a homemade cake.
Well, it depends on who's making that cake. Because there's some store-bought cakes that's going to be better than some people's cakes. But that being said, man, we could jump into the week.
Okay.
All right. So New England going to London, where Jacksonville's been hanging out all week after that last week's loss. Jacksonville is giving 6 to New England. Oh, you went first last week, so I'm go ahead. I'll go first this week.
Okay. Oh, before we start, yeah, man, I gotta don't forget I got another win.
I got another win too, so I'm one back. We was both on New Orleans losing to Denver, and I'm shocked. That line was at I think it was at 1 once the game started, and I was doing a parlay, and I was gonna move the line. I was gonna move it to 3. I felt like I was getting crazy, but man, New Orleans, they came into that game with 5 key injuries, and then they left that game with a total of 10 key injuries. It was Drew Brees night, and they picked the worst possible game they could have did that for, because it was a massacre.
Yeah, man, that I don't understand how a team starts off so hot and has fallen so far from where they started out. I mean, from the way New Orleans started off the season, you would think that they was going to, high rounds playoffs. Now it look like they might not even make the playoffs. And speaking of parlays, man, dog, do you know this whole time I did not know it was Spencer Rattler. I thought they were talking about Riddler, uh, Riddle.
Ritter, Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, Ritter, Desmond Ritter.
Yeah,
dog.
Because you like Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what they was talking. I thought they were talking about Ritter this whole time, man. I would have picked the over on his yards last week if I known it was Rattler, and I would have won that $300.
Oh yeah. I don't know where Ritter is. I guess he's still
I saw him out there. I was like, that ain't Ritter.
Yeah, nah.
Nonetheless, though, he still didn't do good, and Denver, once again, man, another unwatchable Thursday night game. I mean, unless you're just a Denver fan, that game was not interesting.
Or you had Denver's defense starting in your fantasy. But I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I had my parlay too. But yeah, Jacksonville hosting New England in London. Jacksonville's giving 6. Drake May looked terrible last week. Jacksonville looked terrible last week. Giving 6 is crazy, but crazy things happen in London. Man, they've been there all week. I mean, they won one game. I go back and forth on this one, man, but God, I guess I'm gonna take Jacksonville and feel disgusting about it.
Jacksonville, man, is fighting to be the worst team in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I'd be right beside Carolina and the Browns right now. But even the Browns are getting Nick Chubb back. I can't have any faith in Jacksonville right now. And not to say that New England is looking any better, but Jacksonville has not given me any reason to put any faith in them. They do have the experience over the Patriots, but something about it is just telling me to go with the Patriots, and I'll take the 6 points. No, that helps.
I'm not mad at you. If Jacksonville loses this game, I demand that Doug Peterson be fired, and I'm not even a Jacksonville fan. We'll save it to the end. We'll save it to the end. All right. Tennessee is at Buffalo. Buffalo is giving 8.5. Will Levis is questionable for the game, for whatever that's worth. Buffalo just got Amari Cooper, but I don't think he's going to play a whole lot. But that being said, I can't put any faith in Tennessee, so I'm taking Buffalo.
Yeah, man. The fact that Will Levis might play gives me no faith in Tennessee. Uh, I cannot bring myself to root for. I mean, to count on a Tennessee team that may or may not have that has a chance of having Will Levis in the starting lineup. So of course I'm going to take Buffalo. And yeah, uh, 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 damn, I can't. You just said his name. He might not play.
Cooper.
He might not. Yeah, he might not play because he's still. I'm sure he's still got to learn the playbook. You know what I'm saying? If anything, he'll probably have one or two plays that drew up for him. But yeah, but even still, Buffalo is way too much for the Tennessee Titans. Another team fighting for the worst team in the league.
Houston is going to Green Bay. Green Bay given 2.5. Wish it was 3. This should be a very entertaining game. Green Bay is a little bit banged up. Houston has the greatest running back in history. Back in it should be 100% at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Houston.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Green Bay has looked good for the last couple of weeks, but Texans got Joe Mixon back. They restored that look that they had that I expected to see from him all season when he came back into the lineup. Green Bay looks good, but I will put them just a slight tier under. You know what I'm saying, the best teams in the league. You know what I'm saying, right now anyway. And so for that reason, I'm gonna roll with Houston.
Miami off of the bye is traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Colts are giving 3. No Jonathan Taylor. Anthony Richardson will be back in the fold. Colts are dealing with a lot of wide receiver questionable injuries that got him questionable. On the flip side, Miami is just questionable, period. But even that being said, God, off of the bye, I guess I'm going to take Miami.
Ah, man. I mean, on paper, man, it should be Miami, dog. on paper, it looks like you know what I'm saying, they got one of the best receivers in the league, two of the best receivers in the league. They got a good running back, but they just look awful, so awful that I can't bring myself to picking them. I'm gonna not once again, not that the Colts look much better, but they're able to put it together every now and then. So I'm gonna roll with the Colts on this one.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, this is a week where they found like everybody's doppelganger and just put them side by side. Like you guys play each other. So another team not too far apart, but I feel like the balls bounce one way for this team and not the other. Seattle traveling to Atlanta. Atlanta at home giving 3. Seattle is getting some of their defense back, but at the same time they're losing some corners. It looked like Atlanta has just been winning games. That's just Atlanta's all they do is win. It seems like, but I don't think they win this week. Seattle's got some defense back, so I'm gonna roll with Seattle this week.
Yeah, man. Atlanta has been winning games, and every time I pick the Seahawks, um, they let me down. But that being said, I Atlanta is a team that doesn't put up points to the end of the game. I mean they do for me. They put up a lot of yards and then they don't do anything significant to the end of the game. I think with the Seahawks offense, they're going to put up a lot of points, and Atlanta won't be able to overcome that at the end of the game. So I am going to go with that. I'm going to go with the Seahawks, but if they fail me this week, I will never do it again.
um, Another tough game. Cincinnati, Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati going to Cleveland. Cleveland is at home, getting 5.5. Oh man. Nick Chubb, like we said, is scheduled to come back in a limited role. They asked the coach to define what limited role means. He said he couldn't really define that. Cincinnati has won last week. I said that they were going to go on a nice little 3-on-1 tear. But if I had to pick one game that they was going to lose, I could see it being this one. So I'm going to go with Cleveland and the 5.5 points.
Yeah, don't forget that 5.5 points. You're gonna need it. Um. Uh. Once and again, man. Cleveland has looked awful. But with Nick Chubb back, they are a mystery team. Not sure what you're gonna get with them. Uh. Limited plays is concerning, though. And on the other end of that, even though like the Cincinnati is the polar opposite of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have been playing horrible, but they find ways to win. The Cincinnati Bengals have been playing amazing, but they always find a way to lose. But but I think that with a team like the Browns, they put it together this week and they'll beat the Browns. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Philly is going to New York, take on the Giants. Giants are getting 3 at home. Man, the Giants are the I want to say they're the definition of Jekyll and Hyde, but when they're Jekyll, it's really not that pretty either. But and Philly, like you said, Philly hasn't really looked quite right this year. I think it's just, I think they're just kind of coasting at times. 3 against the Giants. I'll take Philly.
Oh man. So it's in my nature to pick against the Giants. I I always go against the Giants. I mean that's the safe bet. And I think what was with the Philly having Saquon Barkley, I think I think he's going I think he's gonna run all over I think he's gonna run over all over the Giants, but something in my intuition, my heart just tells me that I gotta roll with the Giants this week for some reason, plus the 3 points. Something just tells me this is gonna be one of those fluke games where Daniel Jones just pulls it together and for some reason has an okay game. I think it'll be a low scoring, ugly game, and the Giants will win by some miracle at the end. So I'm gonna go with the Giants plus the 3.
I got a devil on my shoulder that agrees with you. The Giants defense, the Giants defense is definitely Jekyll and Hyde. When they show up, they do show up. It's rare that they show up, but those games that they do, like you said, they make it ugly. They cause turnovers, and Philly is just that team that is susceptible to allowing them to disrupt what they want to do. And Jalen Hurts has times where he does look kind of lost out there. So no, the devil on my shoulder definitely could see it in that way. But I'm sticking with Philly.
Man, I'm not mad at you, man. I didn't. It hurt my heart to say the Giants just now.
Carolina is going to Washington. I think I know where you lie on this.
Yeah, yeah.
Washington is giving 9.5, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Washington. I feel like you feel the same way.
What? That's a surprise, Marcus. I didn't think you was gonna go that way. No, no, man. It's not even a question, man. Washington is gonna go out there and destroy Carolina, man. Jaden Daniels is the only rookie that's been even considered trying to be maybe being MVP of the league. They went out there and they held their own against Baltimore last week. There's no way that Carolina is even in this game. One more team that is fighting for the worst team in the league. I mean, that number one draft pick is up for grabs.
It definitely is. The Battle Royale, who want to take it? Las Vegas Raiders going to LA to take on the Rams. Rams are giving 7. Cooper Kupp is expected to play. In what role again? We don't know, coming off an injury. 7 is a lot. I could definitely, if you told me at the end of the game that the Rams won by 6, I would not be surprised at all. But I can't hedge my bet on that alone. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the Rams.
Yeah, man, I'm with you, man. Two shell of a teams. The Rams have not looked the same since they lost Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua, and the Raiders just have so much turmoil going on. I don't think that any of their heads are in the game right now. They got so much going on around their team, and with the Rams getting Cooper Kupp back, limited or not, that is a step in the right direction. If you give Matthew Stafford just one target, then he'll take advantage of it. And I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Rams as well.
Oh, looks like yeah. This is the one of the games of the week. Kansas City going to San Francisco. San Francisco giving 2 to the champs. San Francisco is going to be without Juwan Jennings, but I read that their first round pick, Ricky Pearsall, my man's got shot earlier in the year. He will be making his debut. San Francisco has been rolling essentially. Kansas City, like you said, has been finding ways to win. 2 points isn't that much, but in a game like this, like I said, I always go with the reigning champ. I'm gonna take Kansas City.
Yeah, man. Nah. Kansas City. Kansas City has been finding ways to win. Um, I'm not sure that they can keep this streak up. And San Francisco has been rolling. Spoiler alert: I do not think that there will be an undefeated team after this week. I think that San Francisco will lose this game to not San Francisco. I think the Chiefs will lose this game just because uh, they're not playing up to their standards, and like you said, the 49ers have been rolling. So I'm gonna roll with San Francisco. It's not the proper. It's not the smartest choice because they are the champs. They have been winning. You don't bet against Patrick Mahomes, but I'm gonna go out on the devil's corner right now and take San Francisco.
Hey man, I'm not mad at it. If San Francisco was ever had an opportunity to get Kansas City, especially this is probably the most vulnerable Kansas City has been. They're going into San Francisco, and San Francisco minus Christian McCaffrey is pretty much at full strength. So I'm not mad at the pick. I could definitely have been swayed, but no, I'm gonna go with Kansas City. Sunday Night Football, what a game! The new look New York Jets traveling to the unstoppable, possibly the Russell Wilson era will get underway. Jets are giving two to Pittsburgh at home. Man, oh man. The Jets didn't look bad, and they never look bad. I don't think they do well against aggressive defenses, which Pittsburgh definitely has. I think they're going to get after Aaron Rodgers. But on the flip side, all indications are that Russell Wilson took snaps with the first team this week. They asked Mike Tomlin what was going to happen. He wouldn't really answer. They asked George Pickens. George Pickens kind of let it slide that he thought that Russell Wilson was going to be the starter this week. I don't think Russell Wilson is as bad as everybody thinks Russell Wilson is, but I got to pick between Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers, two quarterbacks that were, 10, 12 years ago, we would have been, well, I'll just say 10, let me calm down. 10 years ago, we would have been like, wow, this is going to be a great matchup. Now it's like two old people fighting over who was in line at the Subway. Oh man, what a tough call. And God, I hate it because this is when I look back and say, see, why would you bet against Mike Tomlin? But I'm going to have to go with the New York Jets. I mean, at this point, it's really like who can afford a loss? And the Jets absolutely cannot afford another loss, especially after making this trade. And Pittsburgh can't really either because if they lose and they switch quarterbacks for no reason, that's really going to spiral their season. Or Justin Fields come out and play, and I'm gonna be so pissed. So I mean, this is truly a gamble.
Yeah, man. I said it before. I've said it. I said it all season. It, if the if the Steelers start Russell Wilson over Justin Fields, it'll be the worst mistake they ever made. The fact that if Mike Tomlin puts Russell Wilson out there, it'll put in my crack. It'll put a crack in my theory that you don't bet against Mike Tomlin. Uh, it makes it more fragile. Uh, like you said, it's not that Russell Wilson is a bad quarterback. It's that he'll go out there and he'll get you some yards. He'll make some touchdowns. But then he has those plays where he just doesn't make smart decisions, and then he makes key turnovers at the wrong moment. You never know what you're gonna get with Russell Wilson. He could either go out there and be a superstar, but most of the time he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So if Russell Wilson plays this game, I will take the Jets. On the other side of the ball, the Jets. I said I wouldn't pick them again. They made this trade. You don't know what that chemistry is going to be like. Seeing as they haven't played in a couple of years together, but at the end of the day, I feel like the chemistry, them working on that chemistry, will be much better than me putting money on Russell Wilson to win this game. So I'm with you, man. I'm gonna go with the Jets.
All right.
If Justin Fields play, I feel like the Steelers will pull it out though.
Got two Monday Night Football games this week. Baltimore is going to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay giving 3.5 at home. Baltimore is rolling. I like the 3.5. I usually count. Well, I shouldn't say usually, but I've been counting Tampa Bay out in these picks, and Tampa Bay has held their own the whole time. So Monday Night Football game, Baltimore is coming in. Uh, they're not always the best, but they're always there, and that's Tampa Bay's run defense. I love Todd Bowles, so I'm gonna take Tampa Bay in the 3.5.
I'm not mad at that. On the other hand, Derrick Henry is looking like the best running back in football right now. He has been since they figured out how to use him. He has been rolling along with the Baltimore Ravens. And even though I'm not counting out Tampa Bay, man, Tampa Bay has looked good, but they don't have enough to beat Baltimore. So I'm gonna take Baltimore.
In the other game, LA Chargers are going to the desert, take on Arizona. Arizona at home, getting two. Arizona. Now that this is a Jekyll and Hyde team, and Arizona, Kyler Murray could show up. He could show up under the lights Monday Night Football, and him and Marvin Harrison could link up and have a real good game. That wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not betting on that. I'm betting on the Chargers to continue to make the Arizona offense look questionable, and their defense is okay at best. So I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Yeah, man. I think the Chargers defense has been underrated, man. They've been playing rough games all season, man. All season long, they've been playing that old school hand nose in the dirt football. Cloud pigskin in the cloud of dust, and I think they're above average team, man. And I think the Cardinals are just the average team. Like you said, if Kyler Murray can get that connection going to Marvin Harrison Jr., they're dangerous, but they haven't been able to get that going the last few weeks. So I'm with you, man. I'm going with the Chargers.
All right, and the last game of the week, our game of the week, Detroit going to Minnesota, take on the Vikings. Division battle, really an NFC battle. Who's gonna come out the NFC? Who's gonna come out the NFC? Minnesota, like I said, is given 1.5. They're home. They're undefeated. A lot of injury concerns on both sides of the ball on both teams. Minnesota, we're looking at Aaron Jones. We're looking at T.J. Hockenson. They're supposed to announce T.J. Hockenson's status by 4:00 today, so we'll know by then. On the flip side, Detroit is dealing with the Carlton Davis injury. He's questionable. Zeitler, offensive lineman, likely out for the game. I think this is going to be the first game that we see Detroit without Hutch in years. We got so accustomed to Hutch being there. It's going to be weird not seeing him out there. But I think that if Detroit can, I think this is going to be one of those games. I really am interested to see how it goes. I think if Detroit comes out the gate and builds a nice lead, I think in the third quarter, it'd be the third quarter, somewhere in the second half. I think if they build a nice lead to start the game, I think somewhere in the second half we could see a crucial turnover, and it's going to change the whole momentum of the game. On the flip side, I think Detroit's best bet to win the game would be if they were able to keep it close and just hang in there the whole time, keep the Vikings to field goals instead of touchdowns. At the same time, the offense stays in there. The offense keeps on putting up points, keep it a close game, and you force it to come down to the wire. I think Detroit has a chance. But that's not really what I think is going to happen. I think I'm more concerned about Carlton Davis' status than you are. I'm not sure he plays, and then if he does play, I don't like it that it's a leg injury. I don't like a hobble Carlton Davis against Justin Jefferson, and I damn sure don't like Terrion Arnold versus Justin Jefferson. I think Hawkinson plays. I think Arnold. I think Aaron Jones plays, and I think that we see a lot of pressure on Jared Goff, and I also think we see very little pressure on Sam Darnold. And on top of that, you're gonna have another receiver out there. I gotta go with Minnesota this game.
Yeah, man. I'm on the opposite fence of you. I think that Davis will hold it down. I have way more faith in Terry Arnold than you do, because you hate the Lions so much. And I think the Lions come out. They run the football down Minnesota's throat. It's going to be a tough game, man. We both have good run stopping defenses, but I think our running backs are in a better position to make yards. We more our running backs are more tough, gritty. They can run those hard yards, even if the defense is strong out there. Even if it's not the long 10 yards a pop, 5 yards a pop, 7 yards a pop that we're accustomed to seeing. They can do enough to get us in position to get first downs. On the other hand, Aaron Jones was on IR. He was expected not to play at first. They made they changed him to questionable at the last minute. So even if he does play, I think he will be hobbled. Uh, I'm not sure if Hawkinson is gonna play. I mean, if he does, more power to him. I'm not worried about. He will be. He will be injury prone. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks, so he'll probably be rusty if he does play, along with probably still not 100%. So I don't think he will be too dangerous. I mean, he'll always be dangerous, but not. He won't be full strength. And we'll see what the line does. I think it's going to be a shootout game. It's going to be a close game. We're going to go back and forth. Both teams will score. I have more faith that we will get some pressure on Sam Darnold. Um, we are missing Zeitler, but I feel like our line can protect Jared Goff. And we just have too many weapons out there at the end of the day, man. Uh, our receivers have shown that if you try to stop one thing, there's always somebody else open. So I think the Lions pull this out in a shootout, and our defense, along with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, makes a game saving turnover right towards the end of the game, and we pull it out.
All right, if I had to give a score prediction, I think mine would be Lions 19, Vikings 27. What you got?
I got Lions 28, Vikings 24.
All right. I like that score though. Hey man, I hope you're right. I'm excited to see the game. I definitely, like I said, I took a half a day because I want to be posted up so I can see everything. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot to look for in this game. Most obviously is going to be, how does the defensive line look without Hutch? Can they get pressure? How does our secondary stack up against Minnesota's receivers? And who just looks like the best team in the NFC North, and who's going to be the favorite to win this division. So I'm so excited for this game. And
I got a quick question for you.
yeah.
Let's say Davis goes out there. It's not 100%. He goes. He gives it a go. the leg is not working right, and the Lions have to throw. I know your faith in. I know what you feel about Terrion. They have to throw Rakestraw out there. What are your how do you feel about how would you feel about that? What is your level of confidence in the two rookies out there together?
I'll, I'll probably add another touchdown to my score. I think in a perfect world, Carlton Davis is fine, and he goes out there and Justin Jefferson has a regular Justin Jefferson game. But I think if he doesn't go out there, or if he does and he only plays a little bit, and then Rakestraw, which I'm assuming Rakestraw is healthy now. I haven't heard anything about him, but I know he was on the injury list the past couple of weeks. So assuming that Rakestraw go out there and Arnold go out there, it would be nice to see what we got for the future. But I don't like that matchup against Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. That's a heck of a baptism by fire into the league. But Rakestraw, like you said, Rakestraw is a more physical player. So
Or do you go with Vildor over Rakestraw?
I think they will go with Vildor over Rakestraw, and they would just spell Rakestraw in there. And even that, I'm not even as mad at Vildor as the Lions community is. So I think that would be the better idea, is to go with him over Rakestraw. But I think you would definitely see some Rakestraw if he's available. But yeah, Carlton Davis is really, obviously we know that Hutch is out, so that's the biggest thing. But like I was telling you last week, I think Carlton Davis is the second most important piece on this defense. So if he's unable to go, or if he has to lead the game, I don't think that's going to bode well at all. Like,
I think it's Brian Branch, man. I fully expect to see Brian Branch blitzing the hell out of Sam Darnold this game.
we'll see how it goes, man. Like I said, I'm super excited for this game, and I'm not counting the Lions out, but I just don't think that this is a good matchup coming off of losing your best defensive player.
Yeah. I mean, no, I understand. I understand the logic, man. I mean, the whole world has said that us losing Hutch, we are definitely our season is over. We are definitely out of Super Bowl contention, and we may as well just stop playing this year and forfeit the rest of our games. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like we'll be all right. Um, before we get out of here, man, we talked about college earlier. Just a couple of bonus things for Bet It Up. I got Alabama beating Tennessee this week. I will take the Texans over Georgia. Um, Michigan wins against Indiana. Michigan State loses against Iowa State. There was one more game that I had off the top of my head, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, man, I can't. Only thing I can tell you is I would bet on both Michigan teams. I would say State with the points, and I would think that Michigan does cover against Illinois. I think Michigan wins relatively big. I think State's going to be right there, and it'll probably come down to a turnover, but I'm sure they'll be within the touchdown. Last I looked, they were getting 6 at home, so we'll see how that goes. But I think State wins. I'm not gonna say that. I don't think State wins. I think they cover with the 6. As far as Tennessee and Alabama, oh man, I think that game is in Tennessee. If I'm not mistaken. I couldn't even tell you, man. All I can tell you is bet the over. It's gonna be a lot of points scored on that field. And Georgia and Texas, that's a big boy battle. But I think last I heard, Georgia was getting like 3.5, and I would say that this is probably going to be the only time you'll ever be able to take Georgia with points. So I'll take the points with Georgia.
All right, man. Well, we got a little bonus. Huh?
Basically, what I walked away saying is take the points. Michigan, but yeah, take the points, take the overs, and if you do that, you should be over 500 if you do that.
I honestly think that Alabama's going to blow. I have no faith in Tennessee, man. I think Alabama's going to blow Tennessee out the water, and I think that Tennessee is going to drop pretty far in the rankings. And the question about Alabama making the playoffs will be long past the. But I love an upset. I mean, I love being proven wrong. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Everybody always tells me that my picks are wild and crazy. I got the crazy ideas, but yeah, man, Tennessee fucking sucks. That quarterback is not good. He has not impressed me all season, game long. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, those were a couple of bonus things for college. I feel like as we get further into the closer to the playoffs, further into the college season, maybe we can start throwing a couple of college picks in there as well. Our predictions, to see what the rankings will look like, as we get, to the college playoffs and whatnot. See who ends up in there. But that's all I got for this week.
That's all I got too. Tuesday, NBA season starts. Pistons have been looking good this preseason, so I'm excited for that. I got my NBA fantasy draft on Monday. I've been doing some deep diving, trying to figure out what my squad should look like. So I'm excited for that. But NBA is right around the corner.
Yeah, man. I've heard about the team. What they said, Ron Holland is looking pretty good. The coach has actually got a game plan. Actually has been working with the team instead of just sitting around folding his arms saying, do what y'all want to do. Jaden Ivey, heard he's looking pretty good on his shot. Cade Cunningham is, talking to the team, trying to find out where they like the ball placement. It's looking like they're going to be pretty good this season. I mean, well, I want to say pretty good, but you know what I'm saying? They're going to be pretty decent this year. I feel like from what I'm hearing, I haven't seen them play this season, but from what I'm hearing, I've been hearing from what I've been hearing, the information I've been taking in, I feel like they'll win more than 24 games if they perform from what I expect them to perform, and along with the guidance of the 4 veterans that they got in there, I feel like we'll see a total turnaround from the team that we saw last year.
I'm definitely on the over train. They were the 29th. I think they were 29th in the NBA, second to last in 3-pointers made last season. So I expect them to take a huge jump, somewhere about high teens or low 20s. But I definitely don't foresee them being one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in basketball going forward. And I'll definitely have something for you when we recap the weekend that was this week's football games. But man, I'm definitely excited. Like you said, I don't think they'll make the playoffs or anything like that, but I do think that I wouldn't be surprised if they cross into 30 wins. But I'm definitely on the season total on the over.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting season. I'm excited to see it. I'm gonna get back into basketball this year. I'm gonna try and check it out if I can find the Pistons games. I don't know where to watch it at, but if I can find Pistons games, I'm definitely gonna try to watch. Real quick before we real quick. We ain't got to spend no time on it, but who makes the World Series and who wins the WNBA Finals?
World Series is looking like the Mets, and the I think it was it the Mets. Somebody's up 3-1. Is it the Mets or the Dodgers?
The Dodgers up. The Dodgers are up 3-2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be the Dodgers and the Yankees, and the Yankees just never win. So I'm gonna say the Dodgers win the World Series, and I don't even remember who Seattle is playing in the WNBA, but
It's the New York, ain't it?
could be.
It's the Liberty. It's the Liberty versus. Is it Seattle?
Is it Seattle? I thought it was Seattle.
I don't think it's Seattle.
Let me see. WNBA Finals. Liberty versus Minnesota. Okay. Yeah. So you're right. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Liberty. Sabrina Ionescu. She did the 3-point contest with Steph Curry. So I'm all about the stars, and it's just funny that she was in that, and now her team's in the finals. So I'm gonna ride that wave of momentum.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I think the Liberty win it all. I haven't seen a ton of WNBA games, but every time I've seen New York, man, they've just been. I mean, like, I don't see nobody beating them, and it's hard to. And as far as the World Series, it's hard to root against Shohei Ohtani. The Yankees, like you said, they always choke in the end, and Shohei. I heard he's been playing lights out, but so I feel like they pull off the World Series. But like I said earlier, man, that was just another quick little thing. I don't really have anything else for today.
So I got.
We'll see. We'll see what the picks bring us, and we'll get back to y'all. Tuesday? We'll get back to y'all Tuesday after Monday Night Football. But until then, peace.
Detroit